What you know is that we have this business network where people come together and figure out what their next opportunity is. What you don't know is we are influencing policy outcomes all around the region all the time. We're working for greater prosperity, not just through the network, but also with elected officials, with nonprofit organizations. Every part of the community is where we reach.
I tell you, the Chamber is a membership group of about 1,400 area organizations, businesses, nonprofits that are interested in the economic vitality of the region. That means that we get together and talk about policies and ways to make this an even better place. Portland is a wonderful place to live and grow and work, and we want it to be even better.
To go into a meeting room and have it be empty, and then 2 hours later have it be filled with 400 people that are making decisions about the community that we all live in, and they're making connections in that room, around that table with those people, and they're having a conversation, and sometimes we get to set that agenda, or sometimes we get to be a part of that, and that's amazing.
One great thing about the state of Maine, I would say, are the people. We have offices throughout New England and down in the Southeast, and the work ethic and the quality of the character of the people that are primarily indigenous here to Maine, I think is second to none, and that's something that we should be really proud of as a city, but also as a state as a whole.
There's an incredible passion for this place that exceeds any expectation that I could have had. Not just here, but in other parts of the country. People love Maine. And they love the hard parts about it and the great parts about it, and their passion runs very, very deep. Whether they've been gone for 10 years, or they just left this year, or they're in high school, or whether they're retired, the passion for this place is very, very significant. And I think that's a cultural connection to a place that I've not ever witnessed, and it is an incredibly fun wave to be on and be able to try to help harness and get people to be a part of it.
Well, I believe wholeheartedly in Kennedy's statement that the rising tide lifts all boats, and to me, that's what the Chamber helps do. It's one of those forces, those gravitational forces in the community that really helps the tide rise. Well, good evening and welcome. Thank you all. My name is Michael Bork, and I'm a Senior Vice President at MEMIC and the volunteer chair of the board of the Portland Regional Chamber of Commerce. And yes, there's almost nothing I like more than a rising tide. In fact, if somebody would leave a pint of Daymark at my table, I'd be very happy. I will be there soon. I also want to apologize to many of you in the front, particularly my colleagues here in the front, for having to look at me quite so closely. Nobody should have to do that on the video, but thanks for all for being here. Well, thanks for joining us back here at the State Theater once again. It's been a year since we've been here, and I think it's fair to say that it's been a pretty good year in the business community and for our economy. On our waterfront, we have ongoing development at the International Marine Terminal, spurred by the growth in trade spurred by the IMSCIP connection. Further east, the record number of cruise ships will be here this fall, and a little west of that, actually, a bunch of dead bodies in an exhibit, which is actually fascinating if you haven't been there to see that. It really is. We've also seen a year where we've seen more significant live music events than I can remember at a great series of venues, including here at the State. We saw the opening of another new hotel downtown, a fabulous blend of old and new with the Press Hotel. We've just seen a summer with record numbers of cars on the Maine Turnpike, not to mention ever higher numbers at the Portland International Jetport. And has anybody tried to park in downtown Portland recently? It's been a busy time. We're seeing ongoing development of good jobs in our communities, including a plan for serious growth at Sun Life Financial in Scarborough. We see downtowns continuing to emerge in Westbrook and Falmouth and across the communities. And finally, we're seeing an energized business startup community that is rallying around the greater Portland community and helping us to take on challenges and showing us all how to overcome them. In short, we're all excited at the Chamber by what we see, the good things happening. These all align with the Chamber's goal to increase prosperity throughout the region, and we're excited about what we've just seen, and we look forward to the days ahead. Of course, with all this good news, there always are challenges, but that's okay. In part, we're all here, you're all here because you're optimists, because you're not afraid to look directly at challenges and to meet them. And that's what we're all doing here. Let me mention one other bit of good news about the Chamber. In the last year, the Chamber saw 100 new members join. Yes, our numbers are growing. Thank you. The man who is at least partially responsible for that, I'm sure he would give credit to much of his staff, is Chris Hall, our Chamber's CEO. And that's who I'd like to welcome to the stage now. Chris?
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you all so much for joining us. You know, it's good to be back here at the State Theater. I know some of you are thinking, oh, that was last year. But actually, I was here in July. You see where that door is over there? Me and a couple of my friends stood there for 3 days, July 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and watched the Grateful Dead simulcast from Chicago. Just got to tell you, Garcia may be dead, but the band was still pretty hot. So they give me the easy job, right? They send me out here to talk to you about something serious on a night when we're just ready to celebrate. So give me the opportunity for just 2 minutes. On November 3rd, the city of Portland is going to vote whether or not to raise the minimum wage in our city to $15 an hour, 7th highest in the country. Really? Isn't that a little too far, too fast? Now remember, the city council's already raised the wage to $10.10, and that'll go into effect January 1st. We need your help tonight. We have urgency to defeat a proposal that would put the Portland labor market completely at variance, not just with the state, but with the region and with the country. Our minimum wage is going up, and we have a strong labor market, creating jobs. But if we go to $15 an hour, we're going to dislocate that market. And at a time when, as Michael was just saying, we have so much to celebrate, we really need your help to make sure that that doesn't happen. November 3rd is the vote. I need 3 things from you. I need your financial commitment. We need money to run a campaign. I need your time and I need your passion. We have sign-up sheets in the back. You can also see me at any point during the event or give me a call. You all know where to find me. My cell phone is 215-3130. Please call. I promise you I'll answer. We need your help. This is an urgent matter. In a matter of weeks, we will be voting on whether to fundamentally change the nature of our economy. And I hope each of you can commit personally and through your corporations and your employers to help us beat back too far, too fast. Say no on question 1 in Portland so that we can have the minimum wage in this town that we can afford. And I hope you'll join us in that. Now, thank you. Thank you. Without further ado, I'm going to dispense with the bad news part of the show and give it back to my friend Michael Bork for the good news portion. Thank you.
I didn't just take all the good news. But I appreciate Chris speaking before us tonight about this issue. It is truly important. It's a threat to all of those good things we talked about earlier. It's not just about a few restaurants or a few business owners or even just about Portland. It's really about our entire regional economy. So we hope you can help us in the next few weeks to move ahead and then move ahead afterward. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce our MC for tonight's awards. While often we'll invite a member of our local media to join us here tonight, we're going to welcome one of our very good partners of the Chamber. We're lucky to have many, many great organizations that partner with us, but among the best is one we've developed over the last 5 years with the Creative Portland Corporation. That, of course, has a lot to do with the mission of the organization to help truly grow our economy through the lens of the creative economy by attracting people and businesses to the region. It's not coincidental that Jennifer Hutchins is coming up on her 5th year as Executive Director of the Creative Portland Corporation. So tonight we're glad to welcome Jennifer Hutchins, MC Jennifer Hutchins, here with us to lead us tonight. Thank you.
Wow, this is fun. Like, talk about soapbox. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome, everyone. It's great to be here for the evening for tonight's event. I have to say that I think it's a little unfair that Amy Schumer just announced that she's coming to Portland, because had I known that it was going to be a throwdown between she and I would have stepped up my game. But in any case, I'm already getting applause from the wings. This is pretty cool. So anyway, I encourage you to check out Amy Schumer at the Cross Arena in November? Anyway, so the other thing I have to admit is when Chris called me to invite me to be the MC tonight, I have to admit that I fantasized about a Ricky Gervais-style takedown of the chamber a la Oscar Awards. And then I realized that, well, and I would have cracked all kinds of lighthearted jokes about the chamber, I promise. But then I quickly remembered that Portland's a small community, and I work with most of you. And unlike me, he can afford a private bodyguard. So no cracking jokes about the chamber. Seriously, though, Portland is a small community, and in my opinion, the size of our community is actually our strength, even though we sometimes bemoan the fact that we're in a state of 1.2 million people. For a while now, the Creative Portland has been working with our friends at the Chamber and many of you in the audience to attract people to the region who are investing in what makes this community great and becoming the contributors to our community's future, and many of them are receiving awards tonight. It is imperative to the sustainability of not only our economy, but every aspect of our community, from arts and culture, to the natural environment, to education, to healthcare, for us to be attracting new resources to this state. And the people that we're attracting at Creative Portland through our 2 Degrees program are consistently saying to us that they are blown away by the accessibility, the friendliness, and the willingness of Portlanders to welcome new people and to help them integrate into the community. So thank all of you for participating and helping me welcome new people here. We are indeed natural collaborators, all of us, and each of the upcoming award recipients tonight certainly embody this quality. I thank the Chamber for taking the time to bringing us all together to acknowledge these contributions, to honor them, and I certainly know that it's inspiring me to continue to keep coming up with good ideas and to keep working with just plain good people to strengthen our community. So, before we begin the program, I'd like to welcome John Leonard, the President and CEO of MEMIC. MEMIC has been the lead sponsor of these awards for 19 years, and we appreciate their continued support. John?
Well, a very warm good evening to all of my fellow chamber members, and congratulations to Chris, wherever you are, and to all the outstanding employees of the chamber who make this annual event so wonderful. And finally, congratulations to the award winners. I know we're going to be seeing a lot of you later in the program. Big shout out to my fellow employees down here. Hey guys, how you doing? There you go. Well, this event extends a number of exciting and very successful days that we've had in New England recently. I mean, what weather we've had for the past couple of weeks. And then on this past Sunday, how about that Big Pats victory? That was fantastic. Woo! Well, you know, we all know that Brady threw 400 touchdowns, and there was no dispute about that until I went to a meeting outside of New York City yesterday, and I started bragging about Brady. That's always kind of dangerous to do down foreign territory like that. And finally, an economist jumped to his feet, and he corrected me. And he says, actually, it's 320. You forgot to adjust for inflation. With that, there's a big round of applause, and somehow I didn't feel a warmth. It wasn't for me. But in any event, well, talking about numbers, there's some numbers I'd like to share with you tonight regarding action taken by the MEMIC Board of Directors at their meeting on last Friday. I'm very thrilled to report that MEMIC will be distributing another $18 million dividend this year tying the $18 million we distributed last year as the largest dividend in the history of our company. Woo! So some details. Checks ranging in size from $10 to more than $230,000 will be mailed or delivered to eligible policyholders of record for the year 2012. And this represents a return of premium of about 14.5% of the premiums we collected in that year. It also represents the fact that this is the 11th straight year that MEMIC has delivered a dividend to the policyholders that are with us in this fine state of Maine. The dividend in all over those 11 years totals $153 million. And if you add to that the $43 million that are the $47 million that we returned as invested capital back in the 90s, we now have returned to the fine businesses here in the state of Maine a total of nearly $200 million over our lifetime. It's been a thrill, been absolutely a thrill. So I always know when to stop. When people are happy, get off the stage. Good night, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Now, on to the awards. And first I want to acknowledge the Knack Factory, our friends, who have put together some really great videos. You've already seen one of them tonight. The Knack Factory will also, you'll be noticing them taking photographs throughout tonight's celebration. Go Knack Factory. Our first award is a new category added by the Chamber this year. Roll video, please.
I'm Michael Bork from MEMIC, and we're thrilled to be part of the 161st Annual Community Leadership Awards, presenting the first Entrepreneurial Spirit Award to Chris Claudio, CEO of WinXnet. WinXnet is a fast-growing IT outsourcing and consulting firm headquartered in Portland with offices across New England and the Southeast.
When I moved to Maine, which is almost 20 years ago now, I kind of picked this as my place that I was going to spend the rest of my life. So wherever I started a company, it was going to be someplace in the state of Maine, and it just happened to be in Portland. Being able to grow in the region that we are in Portland has been great. We have easy access on and off the highway. We have great signage exposure for our company. And frankly, it's an area that's growing. And so I think we're going to be seeing in the next 2 to 3 to 5 years a lot of more old port-esque type of restaurants and establishments that are going to be coming on a marginal way. It's a huge honor for me personally, but also for our company and all the people that I'm representing for our company. But also I think it's a great recognition of sort of what's happening in Portland as a city. There's a lot of entrepreneurialism and a lot of startups that are taking hold and actually growing in this really great city. I work with such an extraordinary group of people that I call most of them my friends, certainly my colleagues, but I get to learn and spend my days with just a tremendous group of people that are hardworking, have a great deal of character, are very nice, and they have the same aspirations that I have and my business partners have about growing a company and be the very best that we can be in the industry that we serve. There are a lot of smart, talented people that are moving here, not just in technology, but in healthcare and it might be maybe legal services and professional services or manufacturing. So there's a lot more talented and smart people that not only are coming from here, but also are moving here for the quality of life that it offers.
It's such a pleasure to work with Chris Claudio and his team at WinXnet. They certainly exemplify exactly the type of people that we're trying to attract to this region. He mentioned talented and motivated people who are contributing not only to the growth of their business, but also to the community. It's really a delight to be presenting this award to Christopher Claudio. John, would you like to join me? There you are. Great. John and I will be presenting the Entrepreneurial Award to Christopher Claudio of WinXnet.
Thank you very much. Thanks, John. Amy's got nothing on you, by the way. What a great choice for a host. So this is an honor to be the inaugural recipient of this award, and I'm really humbled and appreciative to have been selected for this. And when I say I really mean we, because it's the company that I represent. So first, I want to thank the Chamber for everything that they're doing in this community. Chris had a good speech up here, but they're doing a whole lot of great things in this town to grow it. Second, I want to embarrass a few people because it really, again, I represent the company in a lot of ways, but there's 120 people behind me that really do a lot of great work. So I want Christina and Liz and Kevin quickly to stand up, and I'd love to get a quick applause for those guys. And the looks on their faces is exactly what I was going for, so that's awesome. And then I want to thank my wife who's here, and my kids who better be in bed because they allow me to do all the things that I do. I also want to thank my friends from Maine Medical Center and Gorham here that have helped support me and frankly mentor me in a lot of ways in my leadership role. So again, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm super honored to be the recipient of this award. Thanks.
I'm so glad he said that about Amy Schumer. When it was so quiet, I thought, oh my gosh, none of them know who she is. So Chris Claudio knows. So anyway, next we present the Henri H. Benoit Award. This award recognizes outstanding private sector leadership that has made a special contribution to our community.
I'm Mike Duguay from Summit Natural Gas. We're delighted to be a part of the Portland Regional Chamber of Commerce and celebrating 161 years of community leadership. The Henri A. Benoit Award for Leadership in the Private Sector is presented to an individual of the Greater Portland region who has made an outstanding contribution to the Greater Portland community through active leadership. This year, the Portland Regional Chamber of Commerce is presenting the Henri A. Benoit Award for Leadership in the Private Sector to Larry Wold.
Growing up, my parents were both very involved in the community. My mom was on the school board. My father served a term as president of this Chamber of Commerce. So I grew up with an expectation that there would be an element of community service. I think it's a tremendous way to get to know other people and to get recognized and have people give you an opportunity. That's what makes life matter, is being involved in the community. There isn't anybody in Maine who, if you want to meet, you can't make a couple of phone calls and somebody will offer to make an introduction, and everybody's very accessible and willing to meet with people. I've been fortunate to work for companies where there's not only a willingness to let you be involved, but an expectation that you'll be involved in the community and in a leadership role. So I feel very fortunate to have had those underpinnings to my work in our great community. It ends up being an individual honor, but you know that you didn't really earn it individually, that it was your family's sacrifice, it was the people around you stepping up to work while you were doing community service, all of those sorts of things. So it's a very humbling thing because you're picked out and zeroed in on, and yet you know you're not the only one who deserves recognition for something like this.
There's also, besides being somebody who obviously is at the head of a large company, successful company, and contributing to his community, I know that many of us know that he's also runs a lot. And one of the things I'm hoping Larry will either confirm or deny is that he's what's called a streaker, which I found that a little awkward when I was told that. But then I found out that that actually means that you have run all of the Beach to Beacons clothed. So anyway, I'm hoping that Michael Duguay, from the Director of Community Development at Summit Natural Gas, will join me as we congratulate Larry Wold and his new award.
like to thank the Academy. Oh, shoot, wrong speech. An awful lot of really what I wanted to say was on the video. Congratulate first the fellow honorees, Don and Jess and Chris and David. Congratulations to all of you. Thank the Chamber. It's obviously an honor to get an award like this, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm even more grateful for all that this Chamber is doing in our community. It recognizes that it can't represent just the business community in isolation, but has to bring all sorts of constituencies together in order for our community to prosper, and they just do a fabulous job. In terms of thank yous, you have to start with family. And as I mentioned, my parents were tremendous supporters growing up. The kids always pay a huge price. Their missed soccer games, their late dinners, birthday parties you didn't quite get to because you had other things going on. And my son Brian is here tonight, so thank you for all your tolerance over all those years. My wife Colette is here as well, and she gets dragged to more receptions and dinner parties than she would probably care to, and always goes with a great smile on her face. So family is huge. None of us that are getting these awards tonight could do it without our family's support. As I mentioned, co-workers. I've got 2 tables full of folks here from TD who, when I'm out gallivanting in the community, are back doing all the hard work and making me look good. So thank you to all of you as well. And I think lastly, you have to acknowledge your friends who help you get through all of this. And I've got a table full of knuckleheads here who I have run countless miles with over the years, and who've shared unimaginable pain and unimaginable joy, and they've made it all a lot of fun. So great night. Thank you all very much appreciate it.
Our next award this evening is the Neal W. Allen Award, which is given in recognition of public sector leadership that has made a significant contribution to the future of Greater Portland.
Hi, I'm Sam Collins, president of the S.W. Collins Company and chair of the University of Maine Board of Trustees. We're thrilled to be part of the 161st Annual Community Leadership Awards. The Neal W. Allen Award is a recognition of elected officials of state, county, regional, or local government who have, through their public careers, made a significant contribution to the future of Greater Portland. This year, the Portland Regional Chamber of Commerce is presenting the Neal W. Allen Award to David Flanagan. I can think of no other individual that exemplifies the attributes of this award with service above self than David. Congratulations, David, and many thanks.
I've lived in Maine all my life. I've been blessed. I've had a very fortunate career. I have no interest in moving somewhere else. So I'd like to see Maine be as successful as it can be, and if I can contribute to that, then I'm glad to do it. I've been involved with the public life of this state for 50 years, and I've been on the board of the University of Maine system. I headed up a special commission on its financial status in 2009. I've been on other university boards here in Maine and around the world. What this experience in the last year underscores is how important an affordable, quality public university is to the future economic growth of the state. I happened to be the CEO of Central Maine Power at the time of the worst natural disaster in the state's history back in 1998 with an ice storm that basically destroyed the electric infrastructure in our state in the middle of the winter. This was an unprecedented event. I was not surprised by the reaction of Maine people who, instead of being critical and pointing out our shortcomings, were incredibly supportive of our efforts to restore things. I was not surprised by how the state came together and people from different companies and different government agencies all innovated on the spot a way of working together and bringing us through this problem. We can work together. The ice storm proves it. And I'd like to see that applied to other parts of our society as well.
I'm really honored to be able to be part of presenting this award to David Flanagan. I first met David when I was working at the University of Southern Maine Muskie School of Public Service. And one of the best things about working there were meeting people like David who had come to the school in large part, certainly because they believed in good public policy and the contributions of higher education. But what really tied them all together was their memories of the leadership of Senator Muskie. And Senator Muskie, for any of you who have not done your homework, it's definitely, if you want to be a true Mainer, I would suggest that you look him up. The amount of coming from the little town of Rumford, Maine, and deciding how to go to Washington and come up with landmark legislation to protect our air and our water is really remarkable. And what's really meaningful to me tonight in seeing David get this award is that for me, David represents the legacy that's getting passed down from Mainer to Mainer to Mainer, who consistently just say, let's just cut all the you-know-what, get together, be humble about it, put our brains in the right places, and fix this together. And David really embodies that. So, I am hoping that, who's doing this with me tonight? Carl Turner is doing this with me tonight. I'm sorry, I got my notes are mixed up tonight. So, Carl, I hope that you will join me in presenting this award for David Flanagan tonight.
I'd like to thank the Chamber for this wonderful honor. I'd also like to thank my long-suffering wife, Kay, for putting up with my post-retirement jobs. I believe that no city can be truly great without a great university. The Portland area is a great place to live and work, world class in my opinion, and Maine's best hope as the catalyst for future growth statewide. But it cannot achieve its full potential or attract the workforce that it needs without a vibrant public university. A university that is accessible and affordable while offering a diversity of relevant and useful majors and internship opportunities with your companies. Unfortunately, last year, USM did not exactly fit that bill. Instead, it was in financial freefall and was utterly devoid of any plan for restructuring and recovery. No situation like that is easy to turn around, let alone a public institution with a largely uncompetitive culture and an inflexible union contract. But financial necessity is the mother of reform, and our turnaround was possible because of 4 factors. First, the many unsung members of the USM community, faculty, administration, staff, and students who knew change was desperately needed and put their hearts into it. Secondly, the help of the trustees and the University of Maine System Administration, who approved our plans and backed them up with financial and professional support. And third, and I really want to call this out, the steadfast support of this chamber and your leadership, including Chris Hall and members of your board of directors. Thank you very much. And most especially, our own leadership team, which did the hard work and heavy lifting of, one, creating a financial recovery plan, and second, actually executing the plan in a timely way, with the least impact on USM's academic program possible, and with complete fidelity to the requirements of the labor contract. So this award really should recognize Chris Quint, our communications director, Buster Neal, our CFO, Tom Dunn, who volunteered his extraordinary strategic planning experience, and especially Joe McDonald, the provost, whose imagination, expertise, conscientiousness, and yes, his courage made the plan possible. And Martha Freeman, our chief of staff, who made the plan work within our legal constraints. Both of them did this work at great personal sacrifice. The people of Maine owe all I have mentioned a debt of gratitude for our success in balancing the budget, initiating a metropolitan mission with a focus on public service and expanded internship opportunities, introducing to the university the concepts of accountability and productivity, not in contradiction of, but in addition to the traditional values of academic freedom and liberal education, and a long overdue professional marketing and enrollment management effort. Portland has everything going for it to grow itself as a center for higher education with a cluster of good schools and universities in a very appealing region. I am hopeful that with the Chamber's continued support and advocacy, USM will continue on the path of affordability, accessibility, relevance, and value as a vital part of Greater Portland and Maine's future. Thank you very much.
One does admit their mistakes, and I do want to say, in all seriousness, Senator Carl Turner, in his own right, deserves our recognition for his service to the state of Maine, and he is a trustee at the University of Maine System. So, yes, exactly. So, our final award is doubly fun because we're giving it to two people. The Robert R. Masterton Award, recognizing outstanding contributions to the overall business climate in the Greater Portland region. We extend our sincere condolences tonight to the family and friends of Bob's wife, Nancy, who passed away recently. While traditionally this award has been presented to a single recipient, this year the Chamber is recognizing two amazing innovators. I'm not quite sure how they're going to share the award. It might be kind of odd, but who have both fostered entrepreneurship, leading to strong economic development in our region. Our last video.
Hi, I'm Greg Fryer from Barrel-Dana. We're thrilled to sponsor the Chamber's 161st Annual Community Leadership Awards. The Robert R. Masterton Award is presented each year to a deserving individual, entity, or organization which has assisted in promoting or enhancing the overall climate of Greater Portland. Fittingly, this year's recipients are my friends Don Gooding and Jess Knox, who have helped spark a level of entrepreneurial activity in Maine that will redound to our benefit in the future.
It means a ton to me because there are so many people working so many long hours above and beyond their regular work that are so passionate about the state. And so it's a great honor for me to be able to represent all that work and all the people that have been doing that for the great state of Maine.
So this is validation for all the work that we've been doing, that in fact people are paying attention and they're saying that we've been able to make great progress with all the work we've been doing.
What I try to do is work in a bunch of different events, particularly using the power of convening people and bringing people together to drive progress and connections. And I love the phrase engineering serendipitous collisions between people, ideas, and resources, because that's really what I'm trying to do. Is that I know that if I can figure out a way to have an event where people can get connected to each other, I might not be an expert in what they need. That's okay. But if I can get two people who might be able to get together and do some work together or grow some product, that's what is progress for me.
We're seeing events that are bringing together a community of people that want to support them, sometimes by working for them, sometimes by buying their products. So there's this growing consensus that entrepreneurship and innovation is really a big part of the future of Maine.
Innovation and the idea of reaching for the stars is something that is instilled in us when we're very, very young, and somehow occasionally gets stamped out as we get older. When my 3.5-year-old gets up in the morning, I don't say, hey, I hope you reach for 4th place today. I say, reach for the stars. You can't buy anything at Toys R Us that says, try to be mediocre today. And there's something that's very comforting about that, and I think gives us the opportunity to solve all sorts of problems that exist today and that we don't even know exist yet.
Well, I'm a 3rd-generation entrepreneur, and in fact, my daughter, who's now 30, just told me recently she wants to do a startup. So I've got entrepreneurship in my blood. I've been in both a venture capitalist in the technology world, as well as an entrepreneur in a cappella music, of all things. So I really enjoy hanging out with entrepreneurs because of the energy, the vision, and the optimistic viewpoint that we all have.
So anybody who knows Don Gooding and Jess Knox personally certainly doesn't need me to tell you that we could not have better champions and promoters of Maine's innovation and entrepreneurial community. And I just want to extend a personal note that it means a lot to me that we have people doing this kind of work, but when they actually, at their core, are committed to making their community a better place, it really is, I find it very moving and inspiring. And Don and Jess are among some of my favorite people in this community, so this is quite an honor for me. Please join Greg Fryer and Jim Cohen, who are partners at Verrill Dana, and I, as we congratulate Don Gooding and Jess Knox on their award for all of their work and contribution to our community.
Unaccustomed as I am to speaking. So that's a joke for those of you who haven't seen me on Greenlight Maine. Anyways, thank you very much to the Chamber for recognizing the hard work of both Jess and I. I was telling somebody before, as we were gathering all together, that this is like the first award I've gotten since high school, so it's like pretty cool. I'd like to thank lots of people who have been involved. There's a growing community that is bringing successful entrepreneurship here to Maine. We've got a great staff at the Maine Center for Entrepreneurial Development, and I've also been vice chair of the Maine Angels for 4 years, so executive team there, especially Sandra Stone, built up, Maine Angels were now #3 most active angel investment group in New England, yay. And we have a great board of directors at MCED. A couple of you are in the audience tonight. Sponsors, we're a nonprofit. Those of you who aren't sponsors, you can talk to me later. And a special shout out to our partners, Maine Technology Institute, University of Maine, who've been part of this great thing called Blackstone Accelerates Growth, now Maine Accelerates Growth. I definitely want to thank my partner in crime here, Jess Knox, because we're really having a great time together. And finally, do want to thank my wife, Kate, who's here, because she also puts up with me going to things like this late at night. So just very briefly, 5 years ago, I'd spent my entire career in the private sector, and I didn't know what economic development even was. So to get an award 5 years later is kind of amusing. I'm not sure I still know what economic development is, but I do know that entrepreneurship and innovation is absolutely key to the future of Maine. And I'm very proud of the work that all of us have done to try to elevate some really amazing, exciting companies such that all of you can see that it is truly the way forward for all of us. We've been at it for the last 5 years, really accelerating, but as the song goes, the best is yet to come.
So I made my notes on my phone. I'm not actually tweeting or posting on Facebook, which will surprise some of you. Thank you very much to the Chamber. Congrats to all the other winners. It's a pretty incredible group of folks who have been awarded tonight. I'm very honored to be a part of it. And thanks to my co-conspirator, Don. I, in the past, have described him and others that we work with as a ragtag group of misfits who have been stirring things up and agitating around this work for a few years now, and I appreciate Don immensely, so congratulations, Don. I have to also say that the work behind this award would not be possible without the love and support of my family. And some of you know it's been a pretty big week in our family. We added a newborn baby girl just last week, who's here in the back with my family. Along with her big brother, Edson, or as he's sometimes known as Echo, his superhero alternative ego. They're in the back, so I couldn't do it without them. And most especially, my wonderful wife, Kate Knox, really could not do any of this work, let alone believe in some of the crazy ideas that I come up with at home almost each and every week, I would suspect. So thank you to her and to my family. The work that is behind this award is essentially community building. Building communities that are focused on the optimistic possibilities of the future, not focused on the challenges and the failures of the past. It's about creating a movement of optimism, of openness, of creativity, and of innovation. And I want to take a minute around creativity because I have to say thank you to Jen Hutchins, wherever she is. She's right behind me. Jen Hutchins, or Amy Schumer, apparently. But the city is better, fundamentally, because of the work that Jen Hutchins and her colleagues do. So I'd like a big round of applause for Jen. But the movement that we've been working on is building. It's bubbling every day. Chris mentioned it earlier, and it's building momentum. And it, frankly, is a movement that we welcome everybody to be a part of. And it's that movement that is critical to the future of this region. Because the time has passed when it is someone else's job to build the economy and to create our authentic city. Now, it's not just our job to be involved. It's imperative for us to be involved because when you tell the message about this city, when you tell the message about these companies, it's immensely credible to the folks who look to either live here, move back to here, or maybe start here. And that's a very, very powerful movement that I've been able to be a part of. And I have to say, it's incredibly fun. The folks we get to work with are highly optimistic. They're always tackling new problems, and it's a real joy to work with them. But we have a lot of work left to do. We have this continued opportunity to embrace the possible, celebrate the unique, showcase the world-class like some of the companies that have been mentioned tonight, and most importantly, encourage the quirky. Because when you do those things, it provides the opportunity for big thinking, provides the opportunity for new innovations and new ideas, and that's what will attract the next generation of folks in 5 and 10 and 15 years who are up here It will be sponsored by MEMIC, but it will be here. And those are the people that will be driving the prosperity in the future. It's that thinking, the new ideas and new approaches, which will be the jet fuel for the region's continued growth and prosperity. The choice about our future is ours and ours alone. I, like many of the folks in here, have chosen to jump in with 2 feet. I hope all of you will do that as well. You may think, because maybe you're in a business that, oh, I don't know what I have to do with entrepreneurship. In fact, one of my good friends who works for a bank that I won't name in the room said to me, well, I'm just a traditional commercial banker. I'm worried about collateral and all this, that, and the other thing. And I said to her, don't be such a Mainer. Don't think that you can't do it before you've even started. Because the reality of it is we are a small state. And all we have to do is convince 50% plus one of the people that the work we're doing is the right way to grow and expand our economy. This is an incredible place to live and work. Now I hope you'll join me, join Dawn, and all the other awardees tonight in continuing to build a strong future for Maine. Thank you again.
Okay, well, congratulations to all of our award recipients for their achievements. That wraps it up, and I'd like to bring Chris Hall, CEO of the Chamber, back to the podium for some closing remarks. Thanks, everybody. It's been a lot of fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a hand for Jen Hutchins? Didn't she do a nice job? Thank you very much. I am now all that stands between you and dinner. We like to get these things done quickly, and I'm very pleased that we're going to be finished just after 7:30. The first thing I want to do is I want to remind you again, if you want to give your support to the Vote No on Question 1 campaign, visit our website, Too Far, Too Fast, Portland. Click it in, just come to our website at the Portland Regional Chamber, and we'll direct you there. Either way, your contributions and your time and your effort are essential to our victory. Now, we can't have events like this, and this has been a fantastic event. Thank you so much for being here, really. We can't do events like this without the support of our sponsors. I want you to hold your applause while I thank them all. First, our lead sponsor, MEMIC, John Leonard, thank you again for being here and your whole team. We really appreciate it. We couldn't do this without you, my friend. Thank you very much. Did I hear you were a Patriots fan? Did I hear that? Huh? That could have happened. Our special community partners support our work all through the year. They are Anthem, the New England Cancer Specialists, BDN, and the University of Southern Maine. Tonight's award sponsors, Farrell Dana, Summit Natural Gas of Maine, and the Friends of David Flanagan, which I think is just the most fantastic sponsor we've ever had. I think it's just terrific. Thank you all. Our community sponsor is TD Bank. Program sponsor is Unitil. Our patrons, Acadia Insurance and Gorham Savings Bank, and all the benefactors listed up here on the screen in front of you. Let's thank them all now together for their support. I want to thank the State Theater and everybody who works here, the crew, the staff. Lauren Wayne, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you for being our hosts for the 3rd year in a row. I want to thank my board members for keeping me around to do this. Hopefully you'll keep doing that. Thank you. I want to thank our staff at the Chamber. Chandra Leister is our programming, and thank you. That's right. Thank you. She's our director of programming and marketing, but she did so much more to help put this on. But everybody on this staff, every single one of them, deserve credit for the work that they did, and I want to thank them personally for helping us make this such a successful night. The chefs that fed us in the restaurants, Sinful Kitchen, Little Bigs, Leonardo's, Embassy Suites, and Black Dinah Chocolatiers. Thank you all. Headlight, Dave. 40th year in business, is that true? Not 161, but pretty close. We couldn't pull these things off without Headlight. They do a fantastic job supporting us. Tonight's photography has also been provided by the Knack Factory. And on your way out, good job, Knack Factory, absolutely. Videos too, marvelous work. On your way out, there is a chocolate on the back table. So when you're grabbing your sign-up sheet to help us on No on One, you can also get a delicious chocolate from Black Dinah Chocolates. Thank you all for attending. We encourage you to visit local restaurants on your way out because there's still plenty of time for dinner. Drive safely, and I hope to see you next year. Take care.